beginning of our national history, our most visionary political leaders have been warning Americans against the domination of corporate power. Teddy Roosevelt, a Republican, said that America would never be destroyed by a foreign enemy, by a Taliban or by, an Iran, but he warned that our beloved democratic institutions would be subverted by malefactors of great wealth who would steal them from within. Dwight Eisenhower, a Republican, in his most famous speech ever, warned Americans against the domination by the military-industrial complex, by corporate power. Abraham Lincoln, the greatest Republican in American history, said in 1863, during the height of the Civil War, "I have the South in front of me, and I have the bankers behind me. And for my nation, I fear the bankers more." And Franklin Roosevelt, during World War II, said that the domination of government by corporate power is, quote, the essence of fascism. And Benito Mussolini, who had an insider's view of that process, said the same thing. He complained that fascism should not be called fascism, it should be called corporatism, because it was the merger of state and corporate power. Well, that's what we have here in West Virginia, the merger of state and corporate power. And one of the reasons that it's so critical that we fight here in West Virginia the way these miners fought in 1921 and established a battleground here, and this mountain is the beginning of the union movement in this country, which created the middle class, which took our country back from the corporate powers who came to dominate America during the 1880s and 1890s, during the Gilded Age, when the big trust, the steel trust, and the coal trust, and the sugar trust owned America and subverted democracy. And you had a few brave journalists like Ida Tarbell and Upton Sinclair who stood up to them, and Teddy Roosevelt, who passed these wonderful laws, the Sherman Antitrust Act, the graduated income tax, which finally made corporations and wealthy citizens pay their share of American democracy for paying for American democracy. The union laws that allowed unions to organize and create the middle class, that gave us stability to our democracy and prosperity, that made us the envy of the world. And it all started here on Blair Mountain. This is the Gettysburg of the union movement in our country. And these companies want to dismantle it, and we have to draw the line here. Our country today is under attack, and our democracy is under attack. And it's under attack by a United States Supreme Court that made the worst decision in United States history. And I was telling these great journalists who've come all the way to cover this, but H.L. Mencken said that a journalist is someone who can't distinguish between a bicycle accident and the end of civilization. Well, the Citizens United case is the end of civilization, the end of American democracy. And we know a lot about Charlie Sheen, and we know a lot about Britney Spears, but very few Americans know that the Citizens United case is about to overwhelm our democracy and what's happening on Capitol Hill. The battle that started here ended with a law that was passed in 1907 by Teddy Roosevelt that made it illegal for corporations to donate directly to federal political candidates. And that law provided the foundation of our democracy for the next 100 years. And last year, the United States Supreme Court threw it out, and they've unleashed a tsunami of corporate dollars into the American political process. And the same thing is happening nationally as is happening in West Virginia. What happens when corporations dominate our government? You see that human beings are turned into commodities, communities are turned into commodities, and the environment, the landscapes are turned into commodities. And that's what's going to happen across America unless we turn back this ascendancy of corporate power, and this battle is the beginning of that. Thank you all very much for participating.